In the last class, we are talking about the significance and the importance of cloud. So when I say importance of cloud, yes, what was the importance? To maintain my 1 terabyte of KSR data, I'm using one system. I'm using one system. Now, if I want to store 10 terabytes of data, will I go and buy 10 laptops? Definitely no. Now, this is one thing which I need to think of it, right? Which I need to think of it. Now, is it really required to have 10 laptops is the biggest question, and the expense is also going to be 10 lakhs. So 10 laptops, 10 lakhs, it's not an ideal way of storing your data. Well, this is where we were struggling. We were thinking, when you start a business, right, it's always that you need to keep thinking how to improve it. So we were thinking, and suddenly someone came and said that, hey, don't worry, you just give us 3 lakhs, we'll manage all of your data, right from data security, data governance. So we will take care of everything else with just 3 lakhs. Now we are wondering, how come when we take care of it, it's 10 lakhs, and when you take care of it, it's actually 3 lakhs? How is that? Right? Now, I'll also give another example. Let me ask you, there is something called, imagine, let's say you're having a marriage in your house. Okay, let's say your cousins or brothers, whomever it is. Imagine there is a marriage. Okay, there is something called event management. Do you all know that? What does the event management people do? They have their own separate agencies. They have their own separate group. Do you know what they do?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. In my times, like let's say 5 years back, 6 years back, or even 10 years back, we as a cousins, we always be part of the marriage, right? So whenever my cousins are getting married, I'll always be busy helping them, in the like serving, go there, get that. If someone is coming from airport, if someone is coming from train, bus, I'll go and pick them. Obviously, I'll never be on the stage itself, right? I'll always be looking after this, because that's what we do. But nowadays, all the cousins will come well dressed, sit in front of the stage and sit on the chair. Then who's taking care of it? Now, you will not believe, there is an event management, right from decorations, right from everything in terms of serving food, getting people from outside, directing them, accommodation, rooms, everything, they'll take care of it. What you really need to do is you need to just spend some money. That's it, right? You just need to spend some money. With that, you can see that the efforts is been reduced. Same way, I am not going to manage all this now. I need to someone to manage. Well, just like what we have event management, here also we have a cloud service, right? So with that, we were also working with different cloud services. And as I told, there are two paths. And one cloud service, for example, you learn AWS, you have been called as an AWS data engineer. You learn Azure, you are being called as a Azure data engineer. You learn GCP, you're called a GCP data engineer. Where are you going to implement? The pipeline tells you that cloud service. But if you know more than one cloud, you can call yourself as a cloud data engineer. Okay, if you know more than one cloud service, you can definitely call it as cloud data engineer. Okay, with all that, Azure is nothing but, as I said, we are focusing on Azure, right? With this entire course, we will be focusing on Azure. There is another course which will be focusing on AWS. And after certain extent, after certain classes, the class gets deviated. Like one group of people who are willing to learn AWS will move on to AWS. People who want to continue with Azure will go on Azure, right? So let's see that in the end, we have a lot of time to decide for that, right? For initial 2.5 months, we'll all be together. Slowly we'll get into the subject. We'll know the significance of each and every cloud service, positives, negatives, or pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages. And finally, we can take a call. Okay. Now, with this, the first thing which we are going to see is roadmap. Whatever you do, not only for this career, even for your life, have a roadmap in front of you. Okay. Have a roadmap in front of you. When I say roadmap in front of you, maybe you can say that 27, I need to buy a house. 28, I need to get retired. 29, I need to settle. 30, I need to buy a land. Something you have a roadmap in your career. Have a career roadmap, right? And in terms of data engineering roadmap, the first thing which you need to think about is what is the first topic that we are going to learn, right? So the first two topics is very important. That is going to be SQL and Python. SQL and Python. Okay. Now, what exactly is SQL? If you want to communicate to a database, you cannot go and ask in English. You cannot go and ask in Telugu. You cannot go and ask in Tamil. You cannot go and ask in Telugu. You have to go and ask in a language where the database understands. Database understands only one technology and one language, that nothing but structured query language. So as part of our course, we will be starting with SQL as the first. Okay, followed by SQL. As I said, you can communicate only with database. But what if I want to communicate with files, outside tools, external tools? I want to get the data from somewhere else. In that case, your SQL may not be helpful. In that case, you have to learn one programming language. Programming language Python is really necessary if you want to become a data engineer. If you feel at this point of time, okay, is it really required to learn Python? Can I survive as a data engineer without Python? You can simply drop off, because without Python, you can do nothing in data engineering. This too becomes two hands to lift a big rock. Okay, imagine there is a big rock. The rock is data engineering. Okay, imagine there is a big rock in front of you. You want to lift that rock now. So imagine that rock is a data engineering. If you want to lift that rock, first you need to have two hands. And the power you show on that hands and you lift it, it's possible only if you put the right strength. The right strength that you have to do is to learn SQL and Python first. So that is why we have put in the top. You learn two subjects, that is SQL and Python, and automatically everything will be well synced. Okay. After that, we'll be focusing on data warehousing, how the data can be arranged in a proper format, how we can transform it, how it can be helpful for designing the architecture. All this will be seeing. And finally, in this world, now we are into the problem of big data. The data is getting generated in a very high phase manner. So how can I go and solve this? Well, in order to solve this, we have big data as a problem, and two unique frameworks that we are going to learn in terms of solution is, one will be Hadoop and one will be Spark. So one will be Hadoop and one will be Spark. And after that, finally, we'll be learning something called, entirely what we have learned, we are going to learn it in cloud. Now, this is where you will be shifted. This is where you'll be shifted. Instead of AWS or instead of Azure, you'll be learning AWS. So this is where the cloud shift will happen. Until that point, everyone will be together. Everyone will be learning all the fundamentals, coding, everything. Only towards the end, depending on your interest. See, whatever it is, okay, you have come here for a job, you have come here for a better career, you have come here for a high package, everything keep it aside. At last, only one thing is really important, is which one is interesting for you. Unless and until it is not interesting, you cannot survive in that career. Personally, I'm telling with my experience, just because someone is forcing, just because someone is asking you to learn, don't do that. Try to understand the in and out. Try to get to know what is AWS, what is Azure, what we are doing it, what is the pros and cons, and then take a call. Okay. Anyhow, I'll be explaining you the difference, how to choose, what are the things we need to consider, everything. But until then, have patience. Just don't think about the cloud as of now. Okay. As of now, you're called as a only data engineer. At this stage only, you will be called whether you're Azure data engineer or AWS data engineer or you're a GCP data engineer. Only at that stage you will be called. Until then, you are just a data engineer. So this will be the roadmap. This will be the roadmap. So SQL, Python, data warehousing, and big data will be your first four topics, followed by cloud service. Okay. Um, I'll tell you one challenge. Okay. I'll tell you one challenge. It's not about how you learn. It's not about what you learn. End of the day, you have to survive in IT. When you go into a job, you have to survive there. That's our main intention. Okay. That's our main intention. Data engineering I can teach in less than 10 days. I can teach in less than 10 days. 2 days for SQL, 3 days for Python, 2 days for big data, Hadoop, Spark, one cloud service. 10 days I can finish. Every day, 2.5 hours. In 25 hours, I can finish it. Okay. But that's not our intention. Our intention is you get into a company where you have to survive. That is important, right? That is important. You yourself can think about data engineering is like a learning swimming. You learn in 2 days and you start swimming, you will struggle. Right? You will struggle. In 2 days, you nothing you can know. It's like an iterative process. It's a process. You have to start getting into the water first, start floating, start your exercise there, start swimming, and then slowly start giving the laps, right? That's how you learn swimming. Similarly, data engineering is a very slow progress that you need to have. Okay. Totally, you will have 100 classes and it comes up to 125 hours because I never stop in 1 hour. Okay, maybe initially 3 4 days in the start you can see that the class is ending in 1 hour, but going forward the classes will be from 1.5 hours, 1 hour 15 minutes, 1 hour 20 minutes, depending on what topic we are covering. It goes up to 1.5 hours. So totally 125 hours, 100 classes will be your syllabus. Okay, and today we have come to day 3. So another day, 96 days is pending. So every day one class. So obviously another 96 classes is pending. So if you are sitting in the class for 96 days, practicing, following what I've been telling, and also going with the projects, doing projects with us. If you're doing everything with us, for sure, you will be able to crack this subject. Okay. Very openly, I'll tell you, I have taught a lot of subjects in my career. Right from 2017, I've been teaching different technologies. Okay, I've taught HTML, CSS, Java, .NET, and then I went for Power BI, Tableau, and then data science, data analytics, Excel, advanced Excel, everything I've taught. There is no subject which is difficult than this. If you learn data engineering, that means you've mastered the technology. In future, if any tough subject comes, you should be able to do it. And you may ask me why I'm telling upfront. Straight away, I'll tell you, you have to put your efforts. You have to put your efforts. It's not like seeing a movie where you understand and you can go and write it in an exam. Impossible. Data engineering is like a swimming. You go, you get into the water, only then you'll start learning. If you simply be outside the swimming pool, start swimming, do the actions as if you'll move. No, right? So please be informed that this requires complete efforts from you. I may be able to help you only 50%. Rest 50% has to come from you in terms of practice, assignments, all these things. Okay. So please wait for 100 days. Don't come and ask me, can I learn in 1 month? Can I learn in 2 months? Can I learn in 15 days? No. If you want, I can teach you. But I will not promise you that you will survive in company. In first 2 to 3 days, they will figure out that you're a fake. I'm telling you very openly. Okay, the first 3 4 days, they'll identify that you're a fake. If you want to have the complete knowledge of the subject, you have to learn with a very slow pace. Slowly, we will start learning with one technology, and finally, towards the end, we'll fasten it where we will be doing a lot of projects. Totally, we'll be working with 2 use cases, 2 projects among all this. So using SQL, Python, using Azure, we'll be using 2 more projects we'll be doing in the end. Okay. So there's a roadmap now, followed by why data engineers is in demand. Obviously, you need to know this. Not only in terms of the package or the compensation, the job roles people are looking for is also higher. By 2026 and 2028, we are expecting around 50 to 60% of more openings. The reason is, the reason is most of the data engineers are not that effective, and also a lot of problems you are getting in the companies. Okay. Uh, if you see, I'll tell you what is happening. I'll relate it to this with this normal example. Okay. Of course, I come from agriculturing background. Like if you ask me, my grandparents, ancestors, everyone like doing farming and agriculture. So I'll always give a very good example. In the starting, 20, 30 years back, all these vegetables and all you used to get it for very less price, right? Lot of people were doing agriculture. Lot of people were doing farming, right? But now what has happened? Slowly, the people who are doing agriculture are, because of some water issue, land issue, and all, they're moving out. They're moving to different professionals. Now, you may be knowing, right? Vegetable price has been increasing, and 2 months back, you had a very peak price for tomatoes. Another maybe you will get it for onion. So sometimes it's a supply and demand is coming to picture here, right? Now we have come to a stage in India where we also have lack of farmers. That's a reality. Comparatively, if I compare from 20 years back now, the number of farmers in India are getting down and down, and that is why the price of the vegetables is also going high and high, right? Because they have to manage this supply and demand. Now, if I want to have that farming as one of the main profession in India, we need to have a lot of people who have to do farming, right? Simple as that. Same way, in the start, 10 years back, 20 years back, the number of data engineers in the market were okay. They were handling it. Suddenly we have a peak. What is that peak? We have lot of projects, we have lot of challenges. Unfortunately, we don't have farmers. Here we don't have data engineers, and that is why now we are in peak. Lot of companies are looking for how to clean up the data, how to transform the data, how to come up with the ETL development, but unfortunately we don't have. By chance, if you don't learn by 2028, maybe that can also turn into another way where you will have other data engineers, and maybe they may get an opportunity, not you. So this is a right term for you to scale up. You still have 4 years in bucket. By 2028, imagine there is a lot of opening. But if you have learned now, the people who are learning in 2028 and the people who are learning in 2024, there is a very big gap. You know what is that gap? People who are starting in 2028 will be called as a maybe fresher because they're learning for the first time, but you will carry 4 years of experience in your back because you have already learned now. Definitely, you're going to work in data engineering. By 2028, you will definitely carry that experience. Just do understand, okay? Experience matters a lot. Irrespective of whichever profession you are, experience matters. People say that, let's say, young people will come and fill their shoes. It's impossible, right? Yesterday's example should have been a good example for you. Yesterday, RCB won their first match on the home ground. And you know, the way Virat Kohli played, that shows his experience. People say that no, he's getting old, let him replace with some fresh players and all. But what really matters is experience. There is no substitute for experience. The same way, the more and more you learn, the more and more you get that subject knowledge, you will learn that experience. Okay. Now, by 2028, we are going to have a major turnover in the IT world. Okay. Now, um, in 2028, 2029, okay, or let's consider 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, you know what is GD, right? Know what is GD, right? Job description. Before even you apply for a job, they'll give you a job description that you should have minimum of 2 years of experience. You should have 3 years of SQL experience. You should have 4 years of Python experience. You should have 3 years of PySpark experience. So they'll give a description. This is called job description. Depending on the job description, you'll start applying for the job. Okay, that's what we do it. Now, most of the people, what they know, okay, I learned SQL, I learned Python, I know this, I know that. So they'll start looking for the keywords and they'll start applying it. Okay. Now, even some of the non-technical things also they would have mentioned. For example, you should have a very good communication skill. You should have that like rapport to talk to your clients. Those type of things also will be mentioned in your job description. Okay. Take it from me. I may be there, or I may not be there. We may be in touch or we may not be in touch. March 26th, I'm telling you this point. Remember carefully. 2030 or 2029, March 26th, 6 years down the line, you can note it down anywhere. You can note it down anywhere. You can come back to me after 6 years. If I'm still part of this profession, you can still meet me. I'm telling you very open challenge. In 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, Everyone, everyone, each and every person who is working with any technical role will be forced to learn one cloud service. I repeat, in 5, 6 years, the first line of the job description will state that you should have the cloud experience. Now people are surviving without cloud. Some people don't know what is cloud at all. They're still getting a good hike. They're getting a good job. They're still working because it's not replaced completely, but it is in boom. 6 years down the line, each and every person, whether it could be a developer, Java developer, SQL developer, data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, irrespective of whichever technology you're learning, you will be forced to read one cloud. Okay. And you know what? If someone is forcing and someone is learning with interest, you know the difference, right? You know the difference. Now you don't have any pressure. I have to learn cloud. I have to learn cloud. No, it's just a upskilling you're doing. But 6 years down the line, if they ask you to and if they force you to learn, that is where you will have a lot of challenges. Okay. So please do remember, cloud is going to be demand in the coming years. So as I said, salary is also directly proportional to your skills. Um, tell me a domain, tell me an industry. Okay, tell me an industry where data is not involved. Anyone? If you tell, if you tell, straight away on the screen share, I'll open my Microsoft portal and I'll resign my job in front of you. If anyone can say that, where data is not involved. Come on, take this as a challenge. Tell me one field, one industry where data is not involved. If you are able to tell that, I'll resign my job right in front of you. Anyone? Anyone?
There is no industry for that. Every industry requires data.
Actually, I should have replaced this slide asking for where there's no opportunity for data engineers and you don't have an answer. The reason, the reason, data engineers is required wherever data is involved. Wherever data is involved. Okay. Without data, nothing you can do. Your static applications just simply go and send a screenshots or a snapshots doesn't going to help you, right? So you need to have a different domain knowledge in order to master this. And irrespective of whether you're working in banking, you're working in healthcare, wherever you go, data is involved. Okay. So these are the opportunities. For sure, you'll get into one of these domains. Okay, it could be a banking, it could be e-commerce, it could be telecom, it could be health. You will be going into one of this domain in future after learning this. Followed by, as I said, the expected salary is always going to be 4 to 5 times. To give an example, if I'm talking about normal Java developers, or if I'm talking about testing, if I'm talking about some other role, okay, the ideal salary as per the market standard is if you have 2 years experience, you'll get 4 lakhs. If you have 5 years experience, you'll get 10 lakhs. If you have 10 years experience, you'll get 20 lakhs. So these are the people who stay in the same skill for a longer time. So these are the people who are actually been into the same company for a long time. You can compare people who are working. If this is what you're getting, you are actually only on the border. Anything below that, for example, for 5 years, you're getting less than 10 lakhs, you call it as UP. What do you mean by UP?
Underperformance.
Underpaid.
So
In case if you are getting for 5 years, you should get 10 lakhs. If you're getting anything less than this, you're called as underpaid. But for example, I've seen a lot of people saying that I have 5 years of experience, I'm getting only 5 lakhs. I have 7 years of experience, I'm getting only 7 lakhs. Now, all this I would be considering as underpaid. The reason why we are calling you underpaid is you're either not upskilled, you either have not given a try to learn new technology, or you've been into a same company. That is why you people are called underpaid. Okay. There are certain roles which gives you for 5 years, you'd get will give you 15 lakhs. Now this is 3 times 5 into 3. That means 3 times your experience. This is 2 times your experience. Like this, if I start checking the all the technology in the market, and if I start comparing with the package wise, data engineers are the one people who are always on top. You can easily get 4 times your experience. I can show you some examples. People who are 4 to 5 years of experience in KSR managed to grab an opportunity for 21 to 21 LPA. So people who have been showing a experience of 4 to 5 years, they were able to get almost 21 to 22, which may not happen in any other skill. The reason, data engineering is in demand. So this is a right opportunity for you to scale up. If you want to crack a high salary job, this is the one thing. Okay. Now, after this, let's also discuss about what is happening in the job market. So data engineers on a medium salary, you know what is mean median mode. So on a high scale, we have 17 lakhs, and the highest salary paid in terms of a technical subject, 60 lakhs, is also from data engineer. So usually if you see, right, CEO, CFO, or maybe the directors, they'll take the majority of the salaries. But here, a technical subject which has the highest package is data engineer. So remember that hottest skilled in the market. As I've told you, people are not there. People who know such subjects with very few people. So lack of resources, and banking plays a major role in the in data engineering field, because we know that banking requires the live data, customer data, banking details. For that all need, you need a proper system. So obviously the openings in banking is the highest. Okay. Now, who should go for this course is what the first question you people will have. Okay. As in then I'll start with the freshers. Unfortunately, if you're a fresher, you may not have great openings. Irrespective of data engineering or data science or any subject, you may not have it. But it's always good to have this subject rather than telling that Java, .NET. Once you come out of the college, people will force you to learn Java and testing. For sure, your parents or your relatives, everyone will say, go and join a course. And what is that course? They'll ask you to join Java, right? If there is a 5 opening for Java, okay, if you just give a walk-in interview, there will be 5,000 people who will be coming for that role. That is what is happening in the Java or any other subject. But if you learn data engineering, I'm not saying that you will have great calls, because anyhow fresher is a fresher, so people will don't consider as a fresher. But if you still learn this, if there are 10 openings, only maybe 10 people can come. So there is high likely chance that you can crack it. You may get limited opportunities, but it is very much important that you utilize that minimum openings, and maybe you can crack it. That's a one thing. Okay. Straight away, if you want a high package salary, go for data engineer. As of today, no other skills has been paid more except data engineers. As I said, subject is also tough, package is also high package. Okay, so if you want to have a high demand, high pay, if you want to switch from non-technical to technical, if you want to get into a domain where if you're switching from any other to data driven, choose this. And if you want to enhance your skills in the big data, how big data works, how Hadoop cloud works, as I've told you, 6 years down the line, cloud is mandatory. Why don't you learn it right away, right? So all this becomes the one of the prerequisites if you want to learn the subject. Okay. Now I have a small comparison that I'll make with respect to data engineer, data analyst, data scientist. Okay. Now let me talk about each and every person individually. First thing, I have the data that is coming from different source: Excel, CSV, JSON, XML. Now I want to do the analysis. Let's take our example of KSR only. Okay. In KSR, some people would have reached out to us in Instagram, some people through LinkedIn, some people through WhatsApp, some people through YouTube, right? So we have 4 set of channel, communication channel. I want to figure out from which channel how many people have joined. So which type of marketing is working? Maybe Instagram, a lot of people are reaching from Instagram. Is it clicking? Is our reels working? Is our YouTube videos working? And is that mouth of word, like people are going through referrals? Is it more? So we'll start comparing, but you cannot do it on single file. As I said, it's like working with 10 different laptops. You have only one and how do you like work with 10 laptops? It's impossible, right? So what do data engineers will do is they bring everything into one centralized data warehouse. This is what they do. While they bring, they'll make sure that the data is clean, the data is transformed, some of the data wrangling, and all the initial business needs, everything they'll fulfill, and they'll put it into one centralized data warehousing system. Now, this is what your people are going to do. This is what your people are going to do. You're going to gather the data from the different data sources, optimize it, and you have to organize it well, do the data cleaning, do the data transformations, and you will be called as data engineer. Okay, that's your work is done. Now, what this data analyst will do is they will report it, this data. They'll put some charts, they'll put some information. They'll convert this raw data into insights with the help of BI tools. We have Tableau, we have Power BI. So basically, whatever the data has been cleaned, they will go and do reporting. Now, in the reporting, it says that now we are doing KSR reporting, right? So we have a data engineers in KSR who is getting all the data from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything they're gathering and they're putting in one. So we have a data engineer in KSR. Now, we also have a Power BI developer or a Tableau developer in KSR. What they do is they'll analyze this data. They'll say that, hey, people who are joining from WhatsApp is very less. People who are you are sending in Instagram, people are not even watching it. Whatever you're posting on LinkedIn, no one is even bothering about reading that. Those type of insights, those type of answers, those type of reports will be given by data analyst. Among these three, the easiest subject is data analyst because it involves no coding. Already there is a data, and you're just converting into visuals and reports. So no coding. And as and then the complexity of the technology determines the package. Okay. For 4 years, for 4 years, if you can expect 21 lakhs to 22 lakhs LPA in data engineer, the same person for 4 years may expect somewhere around 17 to 18. The reason? Subject. So if you're okay with, no, 17 itself is a good number for me. 17 itself, I can get some 1.5 lakhs per month. You can choose data analytics. No tension, nothing. Simply, you need to understand what is the subject, practice it. If data engineers, I've told you that you have to put 2 hours of practice. For data analyst, you can put 1 hour of practice, enough. But opening wise, demand wise, technology wise, growth wise, let me be upfront, data engine is always on top. Data engine is always on top. See, I also take all three, but each and every subject has different pros and cons. So if you want a subject where you are ready to take risk, if you want a subject which pays you high package, choose data engineer. It involves a lot of coding stuffs as well as a bit of complex topics, but here data analyst, very easy. Now, what is the role of data analyst? Simply he will get the data and he will do the reporting. Now, this guy also will be involved in a bit of small data cleanings. So maybe the data may not be completely cleaned by data engineers. So small data, even data analysts will do the cleaning. That's fine. That is acceptable. Small data cleaning along with the reporting you will be having. Now, let's talk about data scientists now. Let's talk about data scientist. Now, who is data scientist? Is data analyst have told few insights for you. What is that insights? Hey, people who are coming from WhatsApp is very less. People who are coming from Instagram, they're not even aware of what is happening in the course. People who are coming from LinkedIn, they're not even seeing the post. Now, all these are the insights you have told, right? Now, what data scientists will do is they will put some recommendation. Okay, they'll give some ideas, they'll give some suggestions. Okay, and they'll try to increase the revenue of a company. last 6 months, how the sales have happened. Now they'll come up with new marketing strategies. They'll come up with new ideas. They'll come up with some algorithms which can predict the future. All this involves bit of statistics and mathematics. Now, these are the people who are trying to improve the revenue of the company. So as I told, in KSR, we do have the data engineers who are collecting the data from Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all this, they're organizing it. In KSR, we have a Power BI developers who are converting this data into charts. In KSR, we also have a data scientist who helps us, hey, why can't you put this video? Why can't you reach out this? Why can't you come up with your own LMS? Why can't you come up with suggestions? Why can't you help them in getting a job? Now, these are the recommendations someone else is giving to you. Who is that? That person is called data scientist. They'll play with the data. But if your route is not good, if you don't have a proper data engineers, if you don't have a proper data analyst, then data engineer is also down. So that's the reason now data scientist jobs have become stable. Like we have a lot of projects, but no one is giving you the quality of data. No one is even giving you the proper analysis report. So that's why there is a challenge. And for this, you have to know ML algorithms and you have to be a solution provider. If you are a data scientist, you have to always think out of the box. You have to always think out of the big box. You have to start giving the ideas and improvements. So data engineer is a person who's organizing all the data into one single system. Data analyst is a person who's converting the data into insights, and data scientist is a person who's actually solving the actual problem by providing suggestions, improvements, ideas wherever necessary. Okay, so if I want to talk technically, for a data analyst, knowing Excel, SQL, BI tools like Tableau or Power BI is mandatory. And cloud service, as I told you, going forward, everyone in the IT will be forced to learn BI tools and cloud service in future. But if you're coming for a data scientist, you know SQL, you know statistics, you know Python, you know machine learning. This becomes a primary skill. As and then coding also comes for data science. Here coding is not mandatory. Okay, in data analyst, coding is not mandatory. If you know it, well and good. If you don't know, it's not a blocker for you to get a job. So here you need to know Excel, SQL, BI tools, and one of the cloud service. But if you talk about data scientist, you need to know very good at, you need to be at mathematics, statistics, and coding is also required. And you see everywhere SQL is involved. So SQL becomes one of the primary skill that you have to know irrespective of whichever subject you join. Okay, so I'm talking about the data engineer. You have to know SQL, you have to know Python, you have to know big data concepts, and it's your wish. You opt for Azure or you opt for AWS. So if I want to rank it based on the package and in terms of the opportunities, this has more opportunities. I'll give 10 out of 10. This I'll give an opportunity of, let's say, 8 out of 10, and this I'll give the 7 out of 10. This is in terms of opportunities. In terms of package, same thing, but in terms of learning curve, this is very, very easy, right? This is very, very easy. This is okay. This is very tough. Not everyone can become a data engineer unless and until you put your efforts and practice. Okay, so with this, we have compared the three roles. Now it's time for you to decide which one you want to go. If you want to make your life pretty simple, like I don't want to take tension, I'm okay with getting 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 13 lakhs, go with the data analyst, easy. If you're okay, this is a time I need to take the risk, this is a time I need to be financially strong, I have a family, I need to take care of it, I need money, I need a high package, without even thinking, don't even go for a second thought, choose data engineers, one of the high paying job. And you need not worry because everything we are going to teach from scratch. You have to sit, you have to learn, and then you have to practice with us. And data scientist is always an evergreen, but because of the other two roles, data engine scientist is also becoming less. If you are opting for a subject among this, opt for either data analyst or data engineer first. Once you learn, you master it, then you go for data scientist because it's a final stage. Why are you learning the final stage first? You can definitely learn, but go in order. Okay, so this is about the three roles. Now, after completing this course, you will be learning SQL, Python. You'll be able to come up with the ETL pipelines, and finally, you will be working with cloud service. You will be ready to jump in and step it in IT projects, right? Now, as I said, tools covered. We are going to learn SQL, Python, big data, PySpark, cloud computing, and Specifically, we are focusing on Azure. If you're focusing on AWS, you'll be diverted to some other batch in the same time. Okay. Now, last question. I have lot of materials in Google. I have lot of YouTube channels that teaches data engineering. I do have Udemy. I do have Pluralsight. I do have Coursera. You may be asking me, I have all this. Can I learn it by myself? Well, definitely you can learn, but the biggest challenge is you people don't know where to start. Since you're not having that experience of this subject, you really don't know where to start. The biggest challenge for you is you don't know where to start, how to read, how to prepare. And that is why we as a mentors, we are hearing here. See, we are not trainers. We are all working for an organization. Whatever we are working for organization, the same things we are going to teach you here. You may learn anywhere. Always there will be a split. For data engineers, you have to join a separate course. For Python, you have to join a separate course. For SQL, you have to join a separate course. But here, it's like a one-stop shop. You come here, you get whatever you want and move out, right? So all the related technology at one place, live examples, as I said to you, whatever I'm doing in the real time, whatever the challenges I'm facing, only that I'm going to discuss, right? So it's going to be live examples, and it's going to be almost 75 to 80 hours of training. And apart from that, we are going to build 8 to 10 pipelines, which will add up another 20 hours. So total 100 hours of sessions. And as I said, we are going to work with 4 projects. So 2 projects will be mini projects, 2 projects will be full-time projects. So we are going to learn 4 projects, and followed by we as a team known for how you need to prepare for interview. Okay, and how to come up with your resume. For example, you have crossed your subject, you have learned the subject, but you don't know how to portray your resume. We will have a one-to-one sessions, like we'll understand what is your background, and based on that we will portray your profile. Like, let's say for example, you're working in TCS, and TCS you're working in retail. The same project what you're working, the same company what you're working, will try to add data engineering to the resume. So it will make sure that will understand your background and will help you in resume preparation. That is something which we'll do as part of this. And apart from that, Monday to Friday I take the class. Saturday and Sunday you will be given some special classes. There'll be like a soft skilling, like if you want to learn about agile, which is a way that project works. And even if you're interested in BI technologies, there will be a sessions that goes around, like they'll teach you how to build a report in one day, report in 2 days. You can join for that as well. So pretty much we'll be engaged. And apart from that, Saturday and Sunday you can practice, do the assignments, you can reach out to us, one-to-one support, mentorship, everything we'll be giving as part of the soft skills. Okay. um Let me be upfront. Don't think that I'm seeing only the positives of KSR. Okay. Everyone has a negative side. I'll also tell you what is our negatives. I'll be very open to you. Let's be transparent. Let me tell you what is the negatives we have. Okay. Here you will be forced to do assignments. If you're not doing the assignments, your admission will be cancelled. If you're not doing the assignments, your admission will be cancelled. You will not be part of KSR going forward. We will give you time. In case if you're not doing it, your admissions will be cancelled. Apart from that, we also track we also track your attendance. Okay, we also track your attendance. For example, let's say, see, the people whose name is A is actually absent. The people whose name is P is present. So we track your attendance. Tomorrow you come and ask us, hey, I'm not getting job. We will have proof in front of you. We'll have proof in front of you. All the class, we have the attendance. Okay, we track of your everything what you do, we track of it. How many times you're watching the video, how many videos you have been watched, out of 100 classes, how many assignments you have done, everything will be watched. The device which you're using, for example, you're using a Samsung phone, you're using an iPhone, even that we know it. I always tell to the internal people of KSR, we are like almost like a big boss. We are watching you all over the your details. We have a camera, CCTV camera. How many videos you watch, how many hours you practice, what are the assignments you do, everything we are tracking. There is no escaping. If you want to learn just like listening the class and you just want to time pass, this is not the place for you. Your admissions will be cancelled in case if you're not cooperating in terms of practice, because we as a team wants our everyone to get job. That's our main criteria. And if you are not getting placed, we will be thrown out of the college, office. Correct? It happens, right? If we are not getting the performance, what is my performance? If today I have to be in institute, that because I have to get the job, I have to get job of people. If you are not getting job, my job is also risk. So I don't want to take that risk. So we as a management will come up with certain terms and conditions. You have to follow the terms and conditions, else your admissions will be cancelled. You have to do the assignments, you have to do the homeworks, you have to present in the class. Some questions, if I ask you, you have to open your mouth, you have to present it. Just like sitting in front of the laptop, sleeping and listening, just putting everything on mute, no more questions, doesn't work here. This is not a one-way communication. This has to be a two-way communication. If you're not speaking in the class, you'll not be allowed to attend the class. You learn everything. You learn everything. And finally, in the interview, you struggle because you have not opened your mouth. You're still having that stage fear. Well, this will not work, right? So please do keep in mind, our main motive is to get people job. And if you're not doing it, we have to come up with extreme steps. We'll track your attendance. We'll keep track of what you're doing. We'll keep track of your assignments. One time we will warn you. Second time we will warn you. Third time we will warn you. Fourth time, you will be just thrown out of the class. As simple as that. Because end of the day, we have to answer our management. What is our management? Management expects 100% job. So we cannot take that blame. So we will ask you, force you to do the assignments. See, after everything, you people will come and say that it's my money. I have come here. If I do my assignments or if I will not do assignments, it's my wish. What you can do. If you ask this question, we will not be responsible for your offers. I'm telling you upfront. And 100% I'm telling you, if you listen, if you are following what has been told in the class, if you practice it, definitely you will get job. Okay, I'll also tell you, not every batch has got 100% job, because right, not everyone will put efforts. Whoever put the efforts will get the offer. Okay, so with all this, I'm open to questions. In the next class onwards, we will be starting with our first topic. The 3 days subject is complete. That is, you got to know about data engineering, about KSR, what we do, what we teach, everything. And now 3 days is done. The fourth day, day 4, will start from the actual subject, which is nothing but SQL. So SQL will go for 20 hours, Python will go for 20 hours, Big Data Spark will go for 20 hours, and last 40 hours is completely for the cloud. So total 100 days, it comes to 120 hours of session. Another negative feedback, negative point about KSR, if you're expecting to learn data engineering in 1 month, please don't join. If you're expecting to learn data engineering in 15 days, this is not the place. You have to have patience, you have to have a slow progress, you have to learn step by step, because this is a place where you get strong foundation. Okay, with that, we have done with 3 days of the introduction to data engineering. From tomorrow onwards, we will be starting with SQL. Any questions? With all that, we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you.